What's up, guys? This is Lindsay with Garage Gym Reviews. Today we are here at the Reebok headquarters, which is insane to me. We are shortly going to meet with Tausch. We are going to talk to him all about the history of the Nanos, where they started, where they are going. We have a ton of inside information, videos that we are going to show you. So I'm actually really excited about this tour. Let's go. First, we're actually talking to somebody who I've been told knows more about shoes and the archive of Reebok than anybody else on the planet. That's an accurate statement, right?
That is. We would hope that's an accurate statement, yes.
Okay, so this is Elon. Elon, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Elon. I am the footwear specialist here with the Reebok Archive. It is my job to maintain the integrity and the history of the brand along with my coworker, Holly Roberge. And today I'm going to do a very brief walkthrough of our early training history that we have on display.
I'm actually super excited about this.
So in 1984, and a little bit before that, starting with the ExoFit, but also really with the workout, which comes out in 1984, Reebok really starts to get into training and working out. Literally, the shoe called the workout. Yeah. Very rigid. But the workout really liked to use that sort of fashion angle to it. So it's the best of both worlds. It's both a training shoe and a fashion shoe.
And it's cool, like as I'm thinking about where you guys are now with shoes, especially thinking about the Nano, it feels like the intention behind the Nano is more of like a multi-purpose shoe and like coming from this to like where you guys are now.
Yeah, so it really all started with this shoe, and it's like one of Reebok's biggest strengths is training. So this is really where we start that history where we get to today with the Nano. When we get to the late 90s and into the aughts, into the 2000s, the workout kind of goes crazy. So there are many different versions, and this is my favorite era because then you start getting these sort of crazy outer sole constructions. So if you look at the tooling here on the workout low diamond, it kind of has this like diamond pattern on the outer sole, which is really neat. I'm not sure what it would do in terms of actually working out. Sure. It just looks really cool. So also in the 90s, the workout becomes part of the classics line. So we start to pay homage to some of the tennis shoes that came out in the 80s that were really important to telling our brand's history.
Sure.
So it's iconic. That's my all-time favorite version, the Workout Low Ripple Ice G. It's bright red. It's got an ice bottom, and I like to tell people that it's kind of like the top is like fire, and then the outer sole is like ice. Yeah, it's like fire and ice.
Okay, so what's your favorite shoe right now?
My favorite shoe in the collection is possibly the Alien Stomper. The one that we were told was potentially worn by Sigourney Weaver in the movie Aliens.
Okay.
That is my favorite shoe in the collection.
This is great. I appreciate you talking us through this. These are actually really cool. I love seeing the history of this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are now in the actual archive space itself.
Okay.
I'm
actually really excited about this.
As you should be, because not a lot of people are.
I was going to say, this feels like a unique experience that not a lot of people have got to have.
Oh yeah. This is not open to the public. This is rare treat just being here.
For GGRE, right? So Coop's not here. Lindsay is, just saying. Okay, go ahead.
This is the oldest shoe in the Reebok collection. We date this to 1909. This is a Foster's running pump.
Okay.
And this shoe was the brainchild of Joe Foster.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes. When the brand first started, it was called Foster's, and then it was called J.W. Foster's and Sons. This shoe is super narrow.
I was going to say, this was like cement.
For track.
Right.
Yeah, or for speed walking, which was a really popular sport at the time, which would have probably been done on a track. This also, it's important to know, because we're here in Boston, the brand, actually we trace our history to Bolton, England. Our start date is in 1895. So we are one of the oldest shoe companies in the world.
That is wild. This feels so 80s to me.
Super 80s. Cross training shoes. Remember when cross training was all the rage? You would go running and then you would like play basketball, or you would like do some strength training, and then you would do some, who knows what your regimen was at the time, but it was a hot thing in the footwear industry at the time. Colors are really great, super 80s. It's got ERS, which is energy return system. So there's these high trail tubes right here. And as you were walking or as you were working out, these tubes would compress with air and would absorb and give you a little bit more energy.
So is the shoe on this picture in this box?
Oh yeah, so I have another little surprise for you guys.
I'm curious about this one.
Sure. These are
Shaq? Somebody like who wears this big of a, am I right?
These are Shaq size Reebok Shaqnosis. So they are a size 22. That is Shaq size. Bask in all of its glory. Some people like to come in here and they like to pretend like,
right,
like going on the phone. Shaq's been in here since I've been here, and I got to meet him, which was really cool.
Did you feel like a child standing next to him? Were you like he was just towering over you?
I was just in awe because I was a huge fan of his growing up, and I watch him on TV all the time. So
this is very cool. I mean, it's wild, but I feel like even if you didn't see the size of this shoe, the design of it almost feels like Shaq. Like, especially thinking about watching him back in the day. It just feels like a Shaq shoe. I already have a small head, so like this is so silly. All right, so we are at a different area of the archives with Reebok. We're here with Tal Short, who is the man behind the Nano. Knows everything there is to know about this shoe. Also just a great guy in general. So I'm excited to ask him some questions. Tal, do you want to introduce yourself, talk about how you got started, and then what kind of brought on the Nano?
Yeah, for sure. So Tal Short, I'm the director of training here at Reebok. So yes, I'm the face of Nano, but I'll be rest assured to tell you there's lots of people that are involved in the shoe. I just get to be out in the front and tell everyone about it. But there's a lot of people that work very hard for this shoe. So I think with the Nano, just kind of the history of it, you know, for me personally, I was one of the original wear testers of the Nano. So I was just starting CrossFit when, you know, we signed a big partnership, right? So it all kind of came from Reebok, CrossFit, combining.
I remember Reebok sponsoring the CrossFit Games like 2010, 2012, something like that.
So we went all the way from 2010 to 2020. So it was a 10-year deal. So when we signed that partnership, they're like, hey, we need you guys to build a shoe for this sport. And so we did. We started taking a deep dive. We'd fly to California. We'd go to these boxes. And these were the traditional, like old school, like original CrossFit boxes, and learned as much as we could about just that sport. And what we found out was we had to build a shoe that can do everything, which is very scary to do. And it's not just it's, as you know, as we started CrossFit.
Olympic lifting and barbell cycling, you have high intensity, you have long,
I say it's the hardest shoe to build just based on there's no like specialized. It has to be just like a great CrossFit athlete. It's got to be very good at everything.
Sure, you just have to be good at everything, not necessarily just great at one particular thing.
Exactly. So you'll see we've kind of moved the needle between, it's more runnable, it's a more, more strength training based on kind of where the sport of CrossFit involved and just where the sport of training involved as well. So, yeah, so I've luckily been involved from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I really took over on the Nano 6. That's when it was like fully handed to me. So I've been excited to kind of see it grow over the last 10 years. But obviously it's a key icon for the brand.
Yeah.
It's well known in the community. We feel like we're the leaders. So we're always trying to evolve it. And that's why you see all these different versions. Here's the OG. So the original kind of Nano that we built. Cool backstory here is the design you see on the bottom here is actually, we tried to build this with like our running, at that time was our running technology. It was called RealFlex. So these were actually raised up, and this was more for like flexibility.
It feels like it would be almost springy on a track.
Right. So unfortunately, when we started having CrossFitters wear, they just absolutely destroyed that bottom. So we kept the design of it, but we had to make it flat as we learned more and more. So that was one thing. The second thing was the U-form technology. So you can see it here. You could actually, we had like these microwaves. You could put them in, like heat them up, and then they would like form to your foot. So yeah, that was one of those. It got a little dangerous, I think. I think legal said let's maybe not put that on every shoe, but it was a pretty cool technology. So we were using that in other cleats and everything. So we're like, we know that all these people's feet are a little bit different. Like this is more like a customizable fit. So we tried it here. It was awesome. Maybe in the future we can find a more safe way to do that. I promise you will see that we have some fun with it. Like we're gonna try new materials on there. So just a little sneak preview of what's coming. So you rest assured,
okay.
Nano 2 will not go out unless they get rid of the
You're okay.
Sean, you're good, bro. You're good. So yeah, then as we progress on, so you can see we started to realize that durability was a big component. So around this time frame, like people really started to climb ropes, and that was a real eye opener for us. Like we always tested them, but like rope climbing can destroy a shoe. So you can see we went full. I call this thing like the tank. It's like, it's fully like, you couldn't destroy this. I think I still use this as my like lawn mowing shoe because it's still, there's so much plastic on this. I mean, it's probably not great for the environment, but like this thing is sturdy. I'm sure there's people that are still wearing these. So that was the Nano 3. With the 4, you'll see we just kind of lighten it up. We still covered it in this, what we call like TPU. So like this very durable material. So if the rope hits that, it's not going to affect it.
Okay.
Here, in like 2015, we made a pretty big drastic shift where we went away from kind of this plastic. We wanted more of a kind of like lightweight durability. So these guys are great and they're durable, but they're a little bit heavy as well. And we were getting from the consumers like, hey, can you build something a little more like lighter weight? So I call this one like kind of our bulletproof Nano, because like in our marketing and advertising, like we were like shooting bullets at it because it's made with Kevlar. So that was the joke. It was a Kevlar shoe, which obviously are known for like their vests, their bulletproof vests. So and then the Nano 6. So this was a pretty big one for us. This colorway, I was going to give you a quiz, but I'll just answer it for you. This is the #1 selling shoe of all time for Nano. This colorway, this model, we've sold more of this than any other. This is one of the few that I have that I keep. So this one, the Nano 6, this is honestly a kind of a surprise to us. We talked earlier about like surprises. This was one of the last colorways of the Nano 6, and we barely brought it out because it was very late in the season. And all of a sudden it took off. And so then we kept bringing it back. Even as we were bringing out new Nanos, similar to the Nano 2, this just stayed in. This black gum, you could find it on Reebok.com. It was always there and people just bought it. And this is still, I would say it's probably a cult classic.
Will you bring it back again?
TBD.
Okay.
But I would, for anyone that's a Nano 6 fan, just stay tuned. That's all I'll give you. So.
This is the first pair that I ever had.
Oh, the Nano X. So this was, obviously right I think we launched almost a month before COVID hit. Yep. But like this one we're really excited about. Once again, we have the stretch flex weave. So we really evolved it here. You can see the design. It was an engineered, so we could able to have ventilation and have, different design elements throughout the shoe. So super comfortable shoe. I think that Arkham, some of the challenges where it was a little bit heavier than some of the others. And so there's like, all right, cool that you made this shoe. Can you take out some weight?
I liked it because I was Olympic lifting a lot at the time. So that felt like perfect for me because it did feel super stable.
Right. And that's the good point. Some people, if they're lifting weights, they don't want a lightweight shoe. You want to feel grounded.
Yeah, exactly.
You felt lifting shoes. They're not light at all. So,
and I love the way you guys design the colors on this. Especially I feel like lately there's almost like color blocking in your design.
Yeah.
And I think it looks so cool. You can even see it with this one where it's like certain pieces have that coloring. I don't know, I just love the way it looks.
Yeah, so the fun thing with Nano is we have a lot of different colors. So we have a lot of different consumers that we have the black gums, which are traditional, but we are finding more and more consumers are afraid to kind of like stand out in the gym. And we're finding out in their training shoes, they like a little bit more of color because their running shoes are usually black, white, and just something traditional. So it's like, hey, if I'm wearing my training shoe today, like maybe I can wear a little bit.
It's always the idea like look good, lift good.
Oh, I like that.
Good shoes. Yeah. I'm gonna range,
As we go through here, this is the X3. So we can show you later, but there's a special technology here called the Lift and Run chassis system. So of course, very creatively named Lift and Run because it's actually a piece of plastic that's in the bottom that it's a dome shape, right? So when you're lifting, when you're doing your heavy lifts, it flattens out and keeps you stable. When you're just doing body weight or running, it just relaxes. And so you don't even know it's in there, but then all of a sudden it's almost like it's almost adaptable to what you're doing.
So perfect. Thinking especially about like the semifinal games this year, and one of the first events was like, it was cleans and women.
Yep, it was
perfect. It's like
a perfect shoe.
Really cross. When I think of the CrossFit, it's that type of workout.
Yep. You know, we learn something every season and there's always trends. We have a color team that kind of lets us know what's coming. But I think, you know, things like the fades, you know, we do graphics on the sock liner. We have some fun with that. Like this was our swole hearts. Yeah. Like, so like swole mates and swole hearts. Like we tried different things, you know, stuff that makes sense to this consumer, right? Like it's, you know, we're in with these people, we're part of the community, so we can kind of know what they're looking for and what resonates with them.
Do you have another Nano in progress right now that you guys are working on?
Oh yeah, yep.
More than one?
Can't answer that. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so over here, we were just talking about, these are shoes that you guys designed for like court or like pickleball. You kind of just came out with them, right?
Yeah, these just launched a couple weeks ago. So the idea was, you know, we call it the Nano Port. We just see this trend of, you know, the pickleball and paddle not going away. And we have a history within tennis and court sports. I mean, you look at our number one selling shoe right now is the Club C, which is a vintage, you know, like court shoe. So for us, it just made sense to get back into kind of that performance space. So we brought in the Nano franchise, felt like it was the right thing. We took a lot of things from the Nano. So this is actually the flex weave material that we use for Nano. Mm-hmm. This is the same type of heel clip. So for us, it wasn't too hard to build the shoe. It was just more about learning kind of the side-to-side motion. So if you think about Nano or running shoes, it's always straightforward. So you'll see we had to add these rubber wraps. We had to add different things to make sure they keep
pulling.
Yep. Yeah. So that's something that was new for us. So we had to learn a little bit more about like, you know, how to keep people on the platform when they're sliding, you know, because you want some give, but not enough, you know.
And would you say like this is more stable? This is more cushioned?
I would say compared to the competitors, it's probably a little more cushioned. So we were thinking a little bit more, maybe not the high-end pickleball player, but more the recreational. They use it for fitness. They might work out 2 or 3 times a week. And this might be their fun Saturday or, you know, kind of social activity as well. So
I feel like I'm learning so much about shoes.
It's what we're here for.
I really am enjoying it. Okay, so we're here with Mike, who's awesome, and he's been kind of behind helping with lifters, a couple other shoes. Okay, so I noticed the lifters up here, which I use. Do you want to talk a little bit about what the overall design is? I mean, this is new, right? The pump?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was... No, okay. So this is big on our Legacy Lifter 3. This was a big kind of add-on that we wanted to do. Ties not only back to our heritage, customizable fit with the OG pump that came out for basketball. We wanted to also bring it in because we thought it was a great attribute and inside as well for lifting, knowing that as lifters, when you have a ton of weight, not only over your head or on your back, you really want your foot to be completely locked in. So not only do we have the strap, but now we also included the pump that really inflates around your foot, make it a little bit more customizable, knowing that the strap can be a little hit or miss for some people's feet.
We got these in, I was able to test them out, and I had the version previous to this.
Nice, the two?
Yeah. And having this pump, I felt so secure overhead. Like if you're doing like, you know, squat, snatch, or overhead, you know, squats, whatever, like it feels so heavy and so stable. These are my favorite lifters. Especially like I'm thinking if somebody wants to get into Olympic lifting but has poor mobility, you don't see this stable of a heel on other lifters, and that feels really good. So, okay, very cool. And then do you want to talk a little bit about the other shoe that you're helping with, like outdoors? You have, what do you say, the X3 out?
Yes, so the Nano X3 Adventure is currently out right now. It's a great shoe, brings basically your Nano outside for you. So whether you're working out at a park or working out on the trail, or even just want to take it outside, that shoe was really meant for you to be able just to explore beyond just the box or beyond what you're going to be doing in the gym.
The X4 comes out when?
Yeah, so the X4 will be dropping later this year, probably around September. We've got a brand new look and feel to it, great plush cushion around your ankle. Keep an eye out for it.
I'm excited to see. I actually got to see some of the colors of it, and I'm really excited.
It's going to be pretty cool. Excited to see what everybody else thinks.
Great. Awesome. Thanks.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay, so we just finished up wrapping up, learning all about the Nanos. Like, I can't tell you how excited and how thankful I am that you guys let us come out here, gifted us with like sick ass shoes. Obviously got to see like just the history of it. I mean, thank you so much for your time. I hope to be back someday, get more updates on like other stuff that you guys are doing.
Yeah. So yeah, no, just thank you guys for coming out. You know, and always thank you for your support. It sounds like you're a Nano girl, so we appreciate it. All right. So we're gonna try to keep that. So
What's up?
so that, I'll remember that as we brief the next one.
Yeah, like if you need testers, if you just want to send me shoes, I'll just write down my address for you.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Thank
do
you.